Woohoo.
Good morning.
I need to get that to fade a little better. It's a harsh.
Whoa, here we are.
And all of a sudden, face right all over the screen.
We're here. Right.
But at least we have sunshine out there today.
We do. It's like, what is that? The sky. It's been so dark for so long.
This bright thing, it hurts.
Right.
Oh, we already have everybody joining us. Hello, and as well as Patrick. And more friends from far away, if I remember correctly. Rebecca is with us as well. So hello, everybody. Kim, Swifty. And Adam's with us. And actually, he says he's been smudging away. My house this weekend smelled like a college dorm room from the 70s.
Then you're doing it right. That's exactly how bad it has to be.
That's I always love to tell people, make it look like an 80s bar, then you know you've got enough smoke everywhere. Right. Melanie from Georgia. I swear I need to put the map behind me and pinpoint everywhere that there's people. Yeah. Oh, hey, Divine. Yay. We'll have to somehow figure out something in DC. That's not that far of a drive. The thing is about 8 hours to Fort Meade. That's where I graduated out of from, and we would always drive from Fort Meade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And you get to drive through some pretty mountain range on it. And Danielle said hello. I went and saw Reverend Kayla. She's fun. She does some extraterrestrial work. So I was yelling at her and I'm like, are you the reason why there's been weird crap happening a few days before you arrived? Are you bringing them with you? That shit's not fun. Yes, Michelle. So I looked at the Bel Air house. Thanks for the recommendation. Mary and I were interested. Still working on that. It might be a little small to do because we like to have kind of bigger crowds come in to be able to do the ghost walks, but still kind of looking into that one some. And Helen says she needs to find us a place in Pittsburgh. That could be fun.
Yeah, that's not that far.
And there's a lot of history in Pittsburgh too. So, see Divine. Yeah, she says Fort Meade's about another 45 minutes away, so it's not that far. And they're rebuilding my high school. I got all these notifications that they're completely redoing my high school. And part of me was like, I should drive out there and get the last minute pictures of the old high school to compare it to the new. But
apparently they did that at North Royalton, and some people that graduated from North Royalton like 30 or 40 years ago was going in and getting sections of lockers and old desks, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my graduating class was over 800. It's a big high school. I knew maybe 20 of them.
There was 37 in my graduating class. Ted had over 3,000?
Holy cow. Ted wins.
Graduating class. How many people? How many people were in your graduating class?
3,200.
3,200.
Whoa. Okay.
It was at the auditorium. It was so big.
Yeah. Ted wins.
Yeah, he can have it.
Lewis is with us. I just saw him. Where did it go? And we have Rhode Island. Here he is. Salutations, my skinny friends. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. You're only seeing this much of me. You're not seeing
the whole picture on either one of us.
So unless you've been into the store to see me,
not happening.
All right. Confirmations about Pittsburgh being haunted. And, I think I've seen this. Marianne, were you ever down in Georgia around the Pirates house in Savannah? I think I've seen it on a ghost show. And I'm like, well, that's interesting, but that's way away from here. We might need to make a road trip. The Ghost Whisperer road trip. We'll get caravans following it. It'll be fun.
How many states can we hit in a week, right?
Lewis says he has a law of abundance problem. Where'd it go? Here he is. What problem, Lewis? Stick figure? Was a stick figure not accurate on the check? But he said he did it today while the new moon is still occurring.
I don't know when it peaks in London. That's the problem. It had to be, it works best if it's written before it peaks. It was 3 p.m. here, Eastern Standard Time. So you, of course, would have to adjust it. But to get the best benefit out of it, you should always write it before the full new moon peaks. And this was a pretty strong one with all this craziness, with all these moons and the eclipse and everything. So this would have been a good one to do it yesterday.
Oh, because he goes, I didn't do it.
Oh, get rid of the stick figure then. Come on.
So Swifty says she called you from the office yesterday and hoped that the message got through.
Yes, there was a message from you yesterday. I did get it. And yes, wherever you are working, there definitely is activity there. But the problem is with businesses, that's really cool that you know, and are you somebody in a position that can say, I can come in and clear the place? That's the problem. It has to be an owner or somebody with authority that can allow, me to come in. And I'm going to guess, because of all the floors in the building, that smudging probably wouldn't. I mean, you could smudge your areas and keep them out of your areas, but you're not going to make them lethargic because they're just going to go to another floor.
Hello, Loretta. Loretta's with us as well. A lot of people voting for Savannah. We're going to have to maybe make our road trip thing happen.
Well, there was so many haunted places when we went to down to the coast, North Carolina, South Carolina. There were a lot of haunted places there too that we went in.
So Lewis is asking if his life is going to fall apart now that he didn't do the check. What happens if you do it regularly and you just miss a month?
Nothing. It's just that you want to keep it going with the energy for every month. You don't want to have to start over again. That's why it's really good to do it, in a row as many months as you can. Still write it. I mean, even if you miss the time, still write it. It just won't be as effective as, if you could do it before it peaks.
Let's see. Oh, and so here we go. So first time doing the law of abundance and received an unexpected $400 direct deposit yesterday.
I'm telling you this yesterday, and just a heads up, the law of abundance next month, which is on the 10th of June, is also a solar eclipse. So this next, you'll have a big chance next month, Lewis, because that'll be a big one again.
Okay. So here we have a fellow Clevelander who moved to Pittsburgh and would love to bring the friends to see us in Pittsburgh if we can get an event going.
Find a place. Like I said, we can do it.
Yeah. Let's see. So Melanie has a question, though I don't know if it's something you want to or able to do. Could you confirm the name of my bio dad? I never got to meet before he died.
I cannot, especially in this way. I cannot do it. If you've ever dreamt of your father, of your bio dad, then you may not. If he's dead, he came in your dreams, he would introduce himself, so you would know it that way. But if he's still alive, no, I can't find people. Can't do that.
So Sandy says, very often when I FaceTime with my daughter, I see these orbs and they move very quickly. However, I never see them when I visit her home. Can they be harmful?
Orbs are wonderful. You want orbs in pictures or to see them in the baby's monitor or that kind of thing. Orbs are spirits that have crossed over and are visiting. Any of the orbs that you see, if you take a picture of them and they're on some kind of a digital format, if you enlarge the orb that has a design in the middle, you can usually see a side profile or a face of who it is. If your orbs are blank, it's just a dust particle. It's nothing. But orbs are good. Don't listen to those goofy guys on TV that say your house is seriously haunted if you've got orbs. It's the exact opposite.
Let's see. Well, hello, Rashawn. And Lewis says we need a road trip over into England. He'll have to be our guide, tell us where we're going. The best little local pub bars to go to.
I don't have a problem with that. The only problem is ale there in England is all warm. I like cold beer. So
hello, Christy. I'm not a big beer person.
Summer only.
You know, when we lived in Germany, though, I became a big fan of the Glühwein, but just not a big beer person. I have not acquired that taste, and I don't have the desire to acquire that taste.
Really hot, or cut the grass, or years ago, or a mouthful tasted really good. A whole bottle of beer, no.
Yeah, little bits. Hello, Gina. So is ghost hunting or searching for paranormal activity considered a type of witchcraft?
It is not. I'm not saying that people that are not Wiccans don't do it, but that is not being anything that a Wiccan organization would do. No, that is just people that just are going out and having fun and looking for ghosts and hopefully protecting themselves so that they don't bring anything home with them.
Yeah, ghost hunting is not associated with any religion. Witchcraft is not a religion. You can practice witchcraft, not be a Wiccan, and not all Wiccans practice witchcraft. It's a practice, not a religion. There are plenty of people who are considered Christians who just have an open mind and want to go explore and find out. And through the ages, even the Catholic Church has gotten to be a little more open-minded about things. So it's just when it gets way too far over into some of the conspiracy and the blind faith that every place is haunted and every place has a demon, like certain TV shows that are so annoying. No.
No, we don't. We're not going there.
So Lewis is in class. He's got his volume down low. So this is where we could take advantage of that. Make him laugh. He can't respond.
They would just label him if he started laughing for no good reason.
Right. Well, then he would just belong in the crew even more now because now he's laughing at nothing, right? So Christy asks, how do I know if I'm around a spirit?
If you ever get the feeling or the sense that you're being watched and you're home alone, or you can sometimes tell some of the signs for an adult, if there's somebody around you all the time, you're tired all the time, maybe you have unexplained headaches when you're home, maybe lower intestinal problems, things go missing. There's all kinds of signs if you've got something in the house. And people are logical. And so, when you came in the house, you put your keys on the counter. And when you went to leave, they weren't there and they were on the table instead. You would never think the ghost did that. You would think you did it because you walked in and threw the keys on the table instead of the counter. But not all the time. Sometimes they just like to make you think you're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like that old creep that I had here in the house that was just being a pain.
Right.
And I heard this a lot. So watched your last Channel 3 interview on YouTube on their channel, and although I really enjoyed it, I felt it was too short. It was just about 5 minutes long. Wish they had shown more.
Actually, it was 3 minutes and 42 seconds long. That's what it was. I know. And in the beginning, they actually showed footage from the October Channel 3 thing I did for Halloween. But it was short. And this is the problem. People that know what I do and saw it, understand it, but people that don't know what I do, talk about being labeled. There it was. And his name just escaped me, who the talking head was on the Channel 3 News. But 2 years ago at Halloween, of course, Halloween, I was on the show, and he has at the time he had a noon news show also, and they brought me on about 10 minutes before the end, and he remembered, I don't, but apparently I told him all kinds of stuff about his grandfather from other state, which he claims there was no way I could have found out, and except the ghost talked. And so I know we ran over the time limit, and they got in trouble because you have to be in your time limits for the rules. And so, but he was scared. I was surprised because the guy that did the weather on 5 o'clock news, I gave him information the same day, but he kept quiet. He didn't say anything.
Inquiring minds would like to know what he thought of all of that. And
yeah.
Called after and said, "Oh, you're right," or
yeah. And I don't think that Betsy believes any of it at all, the way she was acting. So it was, and it's not everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure.
So then a follow-up question from a different person: how do you protect yourself so spirits don't follow you home?
There's a couple things that you can do. You can spritz yourself with sea salt water. That'll keep them a little bit away. Before you get in your car, smudge yourself. Light a smudge stick, put it around you, and smudge the inside of your car so nothing follows you. Personally, the easiest way not to bring something home is to carry a Quinn seed on you, because they will never follow you home if you have a Quinn seed on you. And so, but there are things that you can try, that's for sure.
So I haven't, honestly, I'm a bad friend. I haven't watched one of your Wednesday things in a while just because I'm running around. But Deborah says, why do I hear noises in the background when you post your Wednesday night talk?
Like the ice maker falling, maybe, or the cats making noise, because sometimes when I'm sitting here, they're around my feet meowing. Maybe that. I know that somebody wrote that last Wednesday, and she gave the exact time that, and I because I don't know how to do that, but she gave the exact time when we were talking, Melissa, that there was a ghost talking over us. I don't have any ghosts in my house, and you don't have any ghosts in your house. And so maybe it was a guardian angel or something. I don't really know.
You'll have to let me know what that time is, because I can
It's on the comments. It's on there. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like someone's going to say that there's a ghost standing behind me right now. That's the cat under the blinds. That's why the blinds are moving. There's no ghost behind me. Right. It's Bob or Bill being funny with the sun. So right. No.
And like I have cats sit down here by my feet.
Right. Exactly. So no.
Wish he was on my feet, because that'd be at least warming. So bringing it back to fashion with Lewis, I have got some great ghost hunting witch aesthetic outfits that I can ghost hunting with when we have our road trip in England.
Tell me it's not capes and pointed hats. That would really do me in.
So I'm going to do the black dress with the black parasol and the veil.
Okay, there you go.
Which I have walked around with the umbrella outside during some of the shaman trainings when it's like midsummer and we're out in the middle of fields, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. I need an umbrella.
It was funny when I was a guest for somebody that was doing an event at the prison down in Mansfield. People in the audience, some of them were dressed up. I don't really know what a ghost hunter wears to go ghost hunting because this is it for me. So I don't really know what a real person other than me would wear. But you should see, it was so funny. There's ghosts standing in the corner going, and look how that one over there is dressed. Oh my God. And so the ghosts are talking about you the way you're dressed. And I'm sitting there going, oh, don't say anything.
Oh, I can see Lewis doing this later.
Yeah, exactly.
We know what Lewis will be doing. Let's see. So Helen says, speaking of Catholics and ghosts, I love the book Holy Ghosts, or How a Not So Good Catholic Boy Became a Believer in Things That Go Bump in the Night by Gary Jansen. You worked with them.
Well, he had a problem in his house, and because he has some knowledge, I could give him step-by-step instructions on different things that he tried, and the house was cleared. And then when he wrote his book, he asked if he could put it in the book. So I did some work for him, but I did not do the book with him. The book was strictly his own.
Let's see, now my cat's with the birds. Was that yours?
No, that's mine with the birds.
Oh, okay.
No, that's mine. Yeah, he's here chirping at the birds.
So Melissa asks, what time period is the oldest soul that you have met? Or do you have an interesting ghost story from a long ago time period?
The oldest spirit that I've ever met, or that was dead the longest, was and again, anybody that's been to any of my events have probably heard this, but I don't know how many people knew that Shakespeare actually had a set of twins. And you think you could do something with this cat, Ted? And one of his, and the twin daughter, she was dead for over 400 years. So she definitely was in Akron. She came over, a man bought at an auction one of Shakespeare's earliest manuscripts, and for some reason she came over with that. And so she's the oldest one that I've ever run across. Finding them from the late 1800s is not that unusual in certain cities, but that's actually pretty common.
No running into King Arthur, Merlin.
No.
Get some concrete evidence of those two.
No, I'm still looking for one of the Beatles, or somebody like that, but I've never. The biggest. I guess the biggest dead star that I've ever met was probably Barbara Stanwyck. And again, I couldn't remember her name. I called her Mrs. Barkley from the Big Valley because I couldn't remember her name.
Well, if and when, well, I shouldn't say if and when. So when, because I doubt she's learned how to become completely immortal, though I wish she would. When Betty White passes, you have one job.
I believe she has just missed Alan so bad. I'm sure she's going to go right into the light. I doubt if she'd even stick around for her funeral.
Yeah,
I think
adorable.
she was. Yeah, she's great. Yeah. No, I think she'll cross over pretty quick.
So Patrick says, have you ever encountered anyone who died but then were revived? Like if in a hospital, have you ran across somebody like that?
Yeah, people have near-death experiences all the time, and it's just not their time to go. And so they do pop back, but this business of people floating above their bodies during a surgical procedure or a car accident or heart attacks, and then, being brought back in, drowned people, that have drowned and then came back. That is, and everybody talks about it the exact same way. Most of them, I bet you 99% of them really don't want to come back. Because it's so wonderful and they see people that they've known. And so, but yeah, that is 100% true.
So quick back to what kind of clothes do you wear ghost hunting? Regular clothes. And like in my mind, I'm thinking jeans and a t-shirt, comfortable. You don't care if it gets ruined depending on where you're at, if you're going to be crawling around in places.
Exactly right. Comfortable shoes. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. And because I do this when it's daylight, all the other ghost hunters do this at night, and I don't know why, because they're just as active during the day as they are at night. So, but I mean, I don't even have to worry about taking a flashlight with me because it's daylight. I don't have to sneak around. And, there was one group that said they were going to sneak up on a ghost, and I still like to know how you do that.
It's almost, I don't know, like because they're dead, they can't hear you, is how they act. Like they're deaf to the living.
Right. Or they're not looking at you, so they don't know you're sneaking up behind them. As you trip over your own feet, right?
So Debbie asks, both my husband and I have difficulty sleeping at night. Is it possible we have a spirit there?
Yes, it is. That could be a reason why you don't. A lot of people that are insomniacs really aren't. They've got usually something in the bedroom. Earthbound spirits cannot get into dreams, but if they are in your bedroom with you when you're sleeping, you wake up constantly. And I mean, you actually wake up and go, oh, I feel pretty good. And then you look at the clock and it's only 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, oh my God, I have to lay here for 5 more hours. Or you wake up or you sense somebody staring at you. Couple things that you can try: smudge your bedroom at least 3 or 4 times a week. So if anything is in your house, it doesn't get in your bedroom. Get one of my dream bags. And there are 2 things. There's mugwort in here, so you remember your dreams. There's also a Quinn seed in here. So when you put this between your pillowcase and your pillow, no spirit can get 3.5, 4 feet close to you. So at least while you're sleeping, you're protected. But like I said, you can try the smudging and see if that doesn't help too. But that could be a reason why you're not sleeping good at night.
So Gina says her sister-in-law gave her 2 pieces of jewelry that she obtained from an estate sale, and she wore them without saging the pieces. And then at night she had scary dreams. Could they be related, or could the whole thing be related?
It could be. She could have brought somebody home with her on a piece of jewelry. And Earthbound women ghosts love their jewelry, especially any kind of diamonds. If you get a good diamond from an estate sale, I'll almost guarantee you're going to have a ghost with you. Even if you reset it, you're still going to have a problem. It's still the diamond. So yeah, and saging is fine, or smudging it, but doing it once, I would do it more than once or twice just in case. But yeah, that's a big, that a lot of people bring stuff home with them from estate sales. A lot of people.
Trudy asks, do you do similar work to that of the late Dr. Carl Wickland, who wrote 30 Years Among the Dead, A Spiritual Persuasion with his wife, a medium?
I am not familiar with him, so I don't know. I am not a medium, so I doubt if we do the same thing.
So Adam says that if you use crystals, is that against religion? I'm having a jewelry person on my channel tonight. She's going to talk about the various powers of gems.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, It's like a Catholic using a rosary. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, it's not like you're making an idol out of a crystal and praying to it or something. So no, there are people, and I'm not a gem person. Ted carries, certain stones and stuff. I'm a firm believer in a stone during a Mercury retrograde. I think it helps. I've never seen any reason to have stones in. I don't think stones in a house stop ghosts from coming in. Personally, I don't believe that. I do know that. What's the purple stone?
Amethyst.
Amethyst. Amethyst. Yeah, amethyst. I do know this. Kids love amethyst. It's purple. It's pretty. And I do know that if amethyst is in a kid's bedroom, you're going to have a squirrely kid. It really makes them act like they're ADDH. I'm not kidding you. There's too much energy in an amethyst for a kid. I don't think child shouldn't have an amethyst unless they're 16 or over. I think it really affects small kids. And Melissa, you are the stone person. You know better than I do.
But it's the Marianne show.
Yeah, but no, it's ours. No, it's ours. But you know better than I do about what stones are good for. I truly do not know.
Yeah, I mean, stones can be helpful, but do they fix everything? No. I had a customer a while back come in and ask what stones she could put in her yard to keep coyotes from coming in. And I'm like, none. I'm like, you need to call the Nature and Wildlife Center and ask what type of urine or something to put around, more than a crystal or a gemstone. That they're not all fix all, end all, be all. But back to the question of is it against religion? They were put here by Creator. Why would it be against religion? Again, you're not praying to the crystal. You're not putting it up on this pedestal and creating rituals for it. So no, and depending on your religion. So, but if you do have a little one with ADD, ADHD, hypersthene is supposed to help clear the mind and make the focus. But still, yeah, amethyst.
Amethyst for little ones, like I says, that's only because I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I've seen how it acts with kids, or how kids act with it, and that's my only reason for that.
Well, an amethyst is kind of like Archangel Michael, little annoyances for me, because those are the two things that they're the fixer of everything. And I'm like, stop it. No, they're not. There are better stones for certain things besides amethyst blanketing everything. Let's do some research and get a better, stone going here.
Right.
Let's see. So Melanie asks, how can we raise our vibration when home alone?
Well, first of all, I suppose you want to make sure that your house is clean and clear, and maybe smudge, on a couple times a month just to make sure. I don't know if you meditate. I don't know what kind of positive affirmations you do in your house. Anything that's positive. I mean, you just get off the phone because you had a blow-up fight with your sister. Some of that energy is going to stick in the house. So I think people have to be aware of what they're thinking and saying at the time. I mean, I think and that energy just can hang out. And I think that, that's pretty much all I can tell you for that.
If you have singing bowls, those work, those little ting-sha chimes. Things like little wind chimes actually are very helpful. That's why some people like hearing them. Then there's other people like me who high-pitched ringing noises are just like nails on a chalkboard. But if you're somebody who likes chimes and bells and singing bowls, playing those raise vibration. Master Ko, who teaches pranic healing, he's actually got a chanting CD that you play it and it raises energy and vibration. So there's so many different ways, but your own personal meditation and just being in that self-awareness state of mind will start doing that for you. There was a question about whether or not there's a possible replacement for the Halloween event that used to be Carrie Sereno's.
Ted, where were we going to go after Sereno's? Mashad's. We had something planned for Mashad's in Strongsville, and then the COVID hit, and so everything stopped. As of yet, we have not reached out back to them. I don't know what they're doing, if they're, a lot of places closed up, so I don't know. But it's still a little bit early. It's only May, so we'll start looking into October, probably June, July, and see what we can find.
So Bobby asks, is there something extra going on with the moon, or what? The menfolk out here acting crazy and out of character. I mean, extra crazy. Y'all menfolk, man.
Yeah, there you go. April's full moon was a super moon. This May's on the 26th full moon is another super moon. It's also an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. So therefore, anything this month has just been crazy, crazy, crazy. If you have an earthbound spirit in the house, you definitely know it. And it's going to last a little bit longer, like I sort of alluded to before, because the next new moon is a solar eclipse. So it's going to go on for a couple, plus I'll talk about it next week or the week after, but we start a Mercury retrograde at the end of this month too. No peace. It's going to just hit us like a ton of bricks.
So when we do our ghost walk in the DC area, Divine's going to wear her black dress with skull lace on the skirt and bottom.
Oh, cool.
I already like where this is going.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be interesting.
Let's see. So another good thing for the law of abundance. Melody says, last month I received news that an $18,000 debt of mine was paid by a family member. So forever grateful for the law of abundance. Thank you both so much for sharing everything you know about the fascinating world and wonderful world of metaphysics.
I'll tell you, that law of abundance definitely works. There's no doubt about it.
Let's see. A lot of people saying that they like and wear your jewelry. That's very helpful to them. There was a question, and there's so many things because they're also chatting amongst themselves about whether or not if guardian angels were people that you knew.
No, guardian angels are angels. Anybody that you know that dies does not become an angel. They are a group on their own. So no, a guardian angel is not somebody you know. You could have people that visit you all the time that have crossed over, but they are not your guardian angels.
So here's Lewis's ghost hunting outfit. A wide brim black hat, an off-white lace shirt, tight black faux leather pants. Okay, Lewis. Simple sequin encrusted belt with silver belt buckle and black Doc Martens. All right.
Did you get anything off of Liberace's auction when they auctioned off his stuff?
I'm like it. This is going to be the gothy ghost hunting crew here.
Apparently.
Right up my alley. Except I can't fit any of the stuff that I used to wear. It's been a long, long minute. There is not a corset tight enough. Let's see. And to touch back while I try to read and talk at the same time. So angels are actually completely different types of beings and energies. So humans are not the same type of makeup that an angel is. So that's why, to say, you don't die and become an angel, because it's a completely, that's like my cat down here dying and then suddenly becoming my guard gargoyle or guard dog on the other side. It's just not how that works.
Yeah, but right.
Oh, and Melody says about the menfolk, crazy is an understatement.
Yep. They say women in the full moon, not so much.
Let's see. So some people are talking about how the stones in the breastplates back in the Bible, Solomon's thing. And then there's also the theories that it was radioactive, and it was actually meant to keep the radiation from coming in. Now, if you get into the whole ancient aliens thing.
Which we're nowhere near going near there.
Hey, good question. Could a St. Joseph statue help sell a boat?
Interesting. Is it a houseboat? Then yes. I'm thinking if it's a regular rowboat or something, probably not. Unless you park the boat in your yard and then put the statue in the yard that way with the for sale sign on the boat. You know what? Try it. What's it going to hurt? The statue, is not going to hurt anything. Why not try it?
Yeah, they seem to work for everybody but me.
Reasons for that,
though. Marianne, I know you can only see Earthbound, but can Earthbound spirits see ghosts who have crossed over?
Some can, not a lot, but that actually is how I can get information for some people sometimes when I'm at their house, because the Earthbound spirit starts talking about a relative that has died, and they know all kinds of things about that relative. Well, when that relative visits, they are talking to the Earthbound spirit. I think it's like when I die, I'm probably going to be able to do this when I'm a spirit also. And so if you had some abilities when you're alive, they don't disappear when you die. And so, yeah, I think, and kids can always, always, always see ones that have crossed over beside the Earthbound ones. So, yeah, I can get information, but they can see, some people can see them.
AW asks, have you ever worked with indigenous people? And if so, does that tribe allow you to discuss what happened?
The closest I've been to that was on a reservation. And what work I did for them, they did not tell me not to say anything. But the crazy thing was, I had taken a 35 millimeter camera with me when I went out to this reservation. And because they were inviting me in, this particular reservation charged people to come in and walk around on the grounds. And so they didn't charge me to come in, which I wouldn't think they would, but I started to take, I had the camera on my strap around my neck, and something caught my eye, and I went to take a picture of it, and the guy said $5. I said, for what? He says, any picture you take is $5. So I didn't take any pictures.
That's interesting.
I know. It's like, I guess they're going to make money one way or the other. So I don't know.
Yeah, some of the conditions on the res, just from what I've heard and seen, like the price gouging of just simple groceries and feminine products.
It was terrible. It's like a third world country. When I went to this particular reservation, they were in a hurry to get me there because one of the elders had died. And I got there maybe 10 or 12 days after this person died. And the person that took me up to the reservation was, a a white person, not an Indian. And once I got in, the chief said, "Come." And so I followed him, and it was a mud hut, and there was a carpet hung where a door would be, and there were tiny, like maybe 3 tiny little windows high up, just wide open. And I walked in, and he held the carpet back, and I walked in. I assumed that I was walking into the home of where the man that died lived. And when I walked in, I recognized the odor immediately. He was still on his cot. They hadn't done anything with him.
Mm.
And I said, why is his body still here? Well, we wanted to wait till you saw him. I says, I can't bring him back to life. I don't know what you kept him around for. I mean, he says, well, we're going to take him now, and you come. So, and it's a long story, but yeah, it's a terrible way to live. And I'll be honest, I went back to this place after their casino was built on their land, and I didn't see a big difference. So I don't know exactly where all the money's going from the casino, but I didn't see a huge difference. The only difference I saw is that everybody was really driving pretty nice cars now, or pickup trucks. The other ones that I saw when I went there originally were held together with coat hangers and duct tape. So they had nice vehicles now, but the houses look the same.
Interesting question from Trudy. Have you ever experienced, not sure how to say that, but a jinn attached to soldiers who returned from the Middle East?
Well, I don't really know what that is, Trudy. However, any type of soldier that is in any foreign country from any war, World War I, Korean, World War II, Vietnam, now it's very easy for somebody that was killed, the enemy, to come home with somebody, especially if somebody brought home a souvenir. And a lot of soldiers will pick up something, a gun, a bayonet, the top of just the knife part of the gun. I don't know what that part is called. That's just the top part of a rifle, like the Civil War. I remember somebody was attached to a canteen. Somebody was attached to an old bugle. So yeah, definitely, they can bring stuff home with them.
Condolences for Rashawn. Her brother-in-law just passed about an hour ago. So sorry to hear that. Interesting question. What was Shakespeare's daughter wearing when you saw her? Curious, did she change her style according to the time?
Well, she had on a long dress with long sleeves and a high collar. And so I guess it didn't have a bustle in the back or anything like that. So I guess you could say it was probably a period time dress. I would think. I have seen Earthbound spirits change clothes, and I have no idea where they get them from. I just make a joke about it. There must be a Macy's in the sky or something where they get their clothes from, because I truly do not know. Just like I don't know how they smoke pipes and cigars and cigarettes and other stuff. I don't know where they get that stuff from either.
Lewis is going to have one hell of a fashion rack for everybody to come change into later.
Right.
Adam, thanks for the recommendations. Made a note. So the Air Force Museum in Dayton is considered to be very haunted, and the Amber Rose Restaurant. So I'll take a look at those, see what kind of red tape there might be between the museum and us coming in.
I have been to the Air Force Museum, and there is definitely earthbound spirits there, but I have yet to go into any museum that doesn't have ghosts. The Button Museum, in which I was in, believe it or not, Canton or someplace in that area, I forget where it was, there was ghosts in there even.
Button.
So buttons, yeah, it's a button. The Organ Museum, pianos like organs, that place was full, and they would actually play some of the organs. They would play music. So any place, but in Dayton, I have been in that museum, and yes, there's definitely is stuff there. I don't think the Air Force would be letting us go in though for anything like this. I would be real surprised.
Yeah, lots of military red tape to get through. And all of my high-ranking people are all retired now, so I have no rank to pull.
Well, we went on the ship that's docked in Cleveland, the Coast Guard cutter there. There's stuff on there, but they're not going to let you go do a ghost walk through there. So,
so Christine asked, what makes your Quinn seeds more special than regular Quinn seeds?
Mine come from Italy. My relatives do some kind of energy work with them, which I have no idea what it is. All I know is that they work. And yes, in the fall, you can buy quince at the store because it's a cross between a pear and an apple. And that's when that fruit is available, in abundance. And quince fruit are there too, but their seeds do not do anything like mine do.
So Lauren asks, have you ever heard of a ghost attacking someone at night and energetically wrapping somebody's body? If so, what is your advice for getting rid of this energy?
Well, I would have to say this wrapping of the body, when an earthbound spirit stands very, very close to you or in your space, it feels like you are totally encompassed by it. So this has to be, I think, what you're referring to. Or there are definitely creepy earthbound spirits that when you're sleeping, they can get on top of you and hold your arms down, and you can feel the weight on you from that. But definitely, if you think this is something that's happening often, I would for sure sage or smudge your bedroom, because you really don't want this in, or to wear a quincy charm, because if you've got that on you, nobody's going to be wrapping themselves around you at all.
So Helen asked, what stone do you recommend for Mercury retrograde?
knew as soon as I said that, I knew somebody was going to ask me that, and I will have to look it up because
it's blue
aventurine. Thank you. I don't know. I guess if I carried it, I would know it, but I don't. I tell everybody else to, but I personally don't. But something like that, like with the computer, I would have a piece of blue aventurine sitting right next to your computer. If you're working from home, because you don't want anything to go screwy with that. But yeah, it's blue aventurine, and I'm sure Melissa has some in the store.
And I know a lot of the crystal books and websites, pretty much if it's a blue color, throat chakra communication, they'll list. But Marianne, I know you recommend blue aventurine.
Yeah, that's the one.
Let's see. So Marie says, you mentioned flip houses having portals. Why is that? What if I flip the house but now live in it myself? Could I have inadvertently created one?
No, the portal would have been created before the house was even bought. It would have been opened by previous owners. And usually flip houses are people left under bad circumstances. They couldn't afford it. The bank took it back. They lost it. Somebody died in the house, and taxes. I mean, sometimes there's just flipped houses usually have, a lot of flipped houses have portals in them. So when you bought this house, and if you're living in it now and you don't have any problems, no, you did not cause a portal. The portal would have been there before you even bought the house.
This is something here that we've talked about quite a bit. Adam says, I'm confused as to why some people say leave your windows open a crack when smudging, and others like Marianne say keep the house sealed for at least 2 hours. Do you want to go, or do you want me to go on my soapbox?
I will say, the only thing I will say that Melissa can finish is that no two people butter toast the same way. Nobody is going to do everything identically the same. I give you information that works best for my people that I tell to do this. But what do you think, Melissa?
So let's just go to science, right? Well, science. If the smoke is doing your cleansing and clearing and raising the vibe, doing all of the change that you need to happen, and you have your windows open and the smoke goes out your window, what do you think is happening? Nothing, because it went out the window. So usually the people that will say, leave them cracked open so the demons can get out. First of all, smoke don't affect demons. Second, they don't give a shit about your smoke. Third, they got in whether or not the window was open or not, because they don't operate that way. So it's a lot of misinformation trying to be blended that are two different things going on. But simply, if your smoke is going out the door or out the window, you wasted your time, you wasted your energy, you've wasted your money, because it literally went out your window. So you keep everything closed so the smoke stays in the house and floats around the house, gets where it needs to go for you. Gathering
the ghosts that are in the house.
Right. So
big thing, right?
You crack your window and it goes outside. That ghost jerk's over here laughing at you.
Right. Pretty much.
So yeah, do what you want, but you're probably going to find that the smoking, the saging isn't going to work very effective if it's going right out your window. So keep it closed, smoke it up like an 80s bar, then open up a door or window later on, let it go out. That being said, if you're asthmatic, don't be the one to do the saging in the 80s bar in your home. Have somebody else do it or help you do it. No pet birds in the house. No bitty
children under 3 or any child that has got asthma or any kind of really bad allergies. Don't kill your kid. Get them out of the house or something.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Have you ever met a spirit of an animal? Could you communicate with them? And do you know why they stayed? Did they have trouble crossing over? And I'm immediately thinking of the snake one because.
Right. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no. I'm not Dr. Doolittle. I do not talk to animals, alive or dead. I know animals. I had a grooming shop when I had a real life for years and years and years. We showed dogs. So I understand some of the body language from dogs. And so, but no, and I've never talked to an animal like you talk to your own pets, I could talk to it. Oh, aren't you cute? And come here, I'll scratch your ears or something like that. But golly, they don't answer.
And cats do what they want anyway.
Yeah, they don't. You can't get them to do anything.
Did you do a guest appearance on your own show?
I did.
What episode?
Oh God, every one. At least once in the 5 years, I was on every one time. My book was on. A couple when Go Speak was on. Melissa was showing it to somebody and held it up so people could see it. And yeah. And I actually got paid for it too, to be on. I think it was like walking down the sidewalk, they paid me $200. So they have to if you appear. So, but
now
yeah.
Be like the Stephen King movies where we're all watching for Stephen King. Now we're all going to be watching for Marianne in the background.
Where it was who was the other? The heavyset man. He was always in everyone too. Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, was in all of his.
Was always made a little cameo appearance in his too. Yeah.
The all-knowing voice of Ted from the background.
Right. You know what? His mind is, you never want to play board games with him because he always wins. He knows the answers to all the questions.
Leave this up to you. Wants to know if you could wish our friend Nick Gurr happy birthday.
Well, sure, Nick. Happy birthday.
Woohoo, party, cake, yay.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a question about if any of the ghosts had made comments about the whole COVID situation. Like, have they commented? Have they said, this is some crazy shit?
Yeah, most of the earthbound spirits that I have seen in houses, and I have talked to people, haven't been able to go clear the houses, which I'm starting to do now. They definitely, they're loving this because people are so stressed out. Kids are like Indians now, wild, crazy kids running through the house, and the parents are aggravated. And I mean, and everybody's worried now that they're going to actually have to go back to work and get out of sweats and their pants aren't going to fit them anymore. So there are all kinds of stress now, but the ghosts are just loving this. Absolutely.
So Marie asked if our relatives know when we visit their grave.
You know, if they're there themselves on the day that you're visiting, or if they were visiting and you said to your sister, come on, let's go to the grave and put some flowers on for Mom for Mother's Day. But a lot of them will just visit their headstones on occasion. And if you've left something there, they see it. So yeah, they know if you've been there or not.
So Denise says, I'm having back surgery and lately I've seen spirits in the house. Could it be family members?
You know, Denise, I don't know because I don't know if you're seeing ones that crossed over or ones that did not cross over. In your instance, I got to tell you, I would definitely at least call or get on Zoom and see if your house is clear. Because you do not want to have back surgery and come home to a house where there's an earthbound spirit, because it's going to take you twice as long to recover. So anybody that is ever having any kind of surgery, you want to make sure you come back to a house that is clear and clean so that you can heal quickly and properly.
Lewis is going to email us pictures if we want. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And Divine says the COVID 15 pound is real. I think we all have it.
It
is. Let's see. Melanie asks, did you have Catholic family or friends who ridiculed your gift of seeing earthbound spirits? And if so, what did you tell them? She has this trouble with her Catholic family and friends.
Besides getting in trouble when I was in first grade with a nun, my friends, nobody knew. I was married to Ted for almost 2 years before I told him. So nobody knew I could do it. I didn't tell anybody. And seriously, it's coming around a lot better now. Tell your friends that are making fun of you, if you live in this area, to call the Cleveland Catholic Diocese and tell them you have a ghost and see what they tell you. They'll give you my phone number. So Catholics in this area are pretty open to it.
Maybe you've heard of this. I haven't. But Christine says, just before May 1st, I noticed a lot of shadows running around outside. And then a Facebook group post popped up with several people saying that they had seen a lot of shadow people on the same night. Any ideas?
May 1st was a Saturday. I remember that. And when was the moon before that? No, the full moon was on the 26th, the super moon. Again, though, it was a super moon. I don't know why shadow people would be running around outside or in a group for two reasons. Number one, usually earthbound spirits do not hang out together because it affects their energy somehow. And the second thing is, who are they going to get energy from outside? So I don't really know what that was all about.
Let's see. So Donna says, we have an Indian burial mound on the property near Pittsburgh. Would you be able to tell its location with pictures? Are you wanting to know if the location's haunted through pictures?
Sometimes when I look at a picture of a person, I can see if there's negative energy on them, or they have energy on them from an earthbound spirit, or if there's an earthbound spirit standing next to them, but not so much with location. No, I could not do that.
Let's see. So there were some questions about where to get your dream pillows. You can get Marianne's Quincy jewelry, her dream pillows, all of her other helpful items from her website, mariannewinkowski.com. The phone number to call and leave her a message is also there. There were some questions in the chat wanting to know if she could tell, or if you could tell people if they had a ghost in their house right now, and she can't. You can see us, we can't see you. So you can call that phone number, leave a message while you are in the location you have a question about, and Marianne can call you back. How long of a wait are the callbacks going right now?
I'm about 8 weeks out now, so it's getting better, believe it or not. I am doing houses. I prefer to go to a house when people have had their shots. And only usually I let anybody be there that lives in the house, but now it's only one person could be there. And so if you want me to come out under those circumstances, I'll be happy to. But I am starting to come out and do them again. Seriously, the Zoom has really helped so many people coming on, because at least I can tell you from that if you've got something in the house and different things that you can try. And I think that's really important, especially people that, like the gal that's having surgery. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm. So the Zoom sessions are limited to 30 people. So there's going to be 32, the 30 who sign up, me and Marianne. I'm there controlling the microphones and everything. It's not like this. I'm not talking, other than calling names. So it's also not recorded. So other people are not going to know what's going on in your house other than the people that are a part of that Zoom. It's not something that can go back and be watched. We do the new people first because there are some that will come back on, just for clarification. Maybe now they're at a family member's house. So we get new people in first, and then our repeat joiners go last. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions. We ask that you keep it kind of simple. We everybody wants their questions answered. We go until everybody is done. So, please keep your questions kind of short. We love you, but we don't need a 10-minute biography about your question, only because other people are there too. And we need to get through everybody on the Zoom in a timely manner, but we go until everybody's done. If you sign off before we get to you, sorry, you left. And please be mindful. We love having everybody from all over the world join us, but be mindful of the time difference of where you're at versus when we start at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Do the time change, make sure you're joining at the right time. But otherwise, we have you.
And no children under 18, please, please, please. You got something in the house, you get off the Zoom, you want to tell your kid what's in the house, that's your kid, you tell them. I'm not saying anything to when there's a child in the room. So just keep that in mind too.
Okay. Yeah.
Carousel.
Yes, I was kind of reading over here. So we have the Merry-Go-Round Museum, June 26th. That is our next in-person haunted location and event. We will have access to the whole ground floor and the basement where they do restorations. So this will be pretty interesting and fun. The haunted carousel horse that is normally on display at Cedar Point, this is where it is stored in the off season and maintained. So there is a haunted carousel piece, which I'm not sure if it'll be on grounds during that, because usually Cedar Point's open by then. But with the whole COVID, like I don't think I've seen anything yet about Cedar Point being open yet. So it'll be interesting. But we don't need the haunted horse.
There's other stuff there, though, so it makes no difference, right? For those of you that are Coast to Coast fans, I will be on with George on Wednesday, the 26th, which is the new moon, or the full moon, and it's also an eclipse. So his guests that call in that day should be really, really different calling in that night. That's for sure.
That's always an interesting crowd. Anyway, let's see, just double checking here. So the May Zoom is full. There are still room available for June. And that is June 11th. It's a Friday night. So the best legal Friday night fun you can have at home in your pajamas on your comfy couch. We still have a few spaces left. It's about half full right now. So there's still some room. And as that fills, then we'll put out another date. So Sink is asking on the Zoom, can you tell if there's a ghost even if they aren't standing next to you?
Yes, I can, as long as they are somewhere in the house or office that you're calling from, I can. And it's interesting because once we start talking, even if the ghost is someplace else in the house, or ghosts, more than one, they usually come into the room where you're on the computer because they're curious now. And so it's pretty cool because you're asking me a question. Is it a man or a woman? Well, I can see if it's a man or a woman. Is it somebody I know? The ghost is shaking their head no. And so I know it's not. So I can't talk to them, get rid of them. But surprisingly, sometimes we can get quite a bit of information.
Sorry, I muted myself because they're mowing the lawn now across the street at the park, and I don't know if you guys can hear it.
A little bit, but we're almost done anyway.
Yes. So if you go to that link for signing up for the Zoom for the Spirited Evening, you're going to see the 2 dates listed. And when you click on that and start filling out your information, you then click which date, and it's only going to give you the option for June because May is filled. So I saw the comment about how there's not a clickable link. It's one link works for both, but it's going to go in for June because we've already had people sign up. So jump in on that before it's full. And one last, how do I listen to Coast to Coast?
It's on my website, the station that you listen to it here in this area. And Coast to Coast comes on at 10 o'clock in the evening in California. So yes, I'm on May 26th in California, but to catch it here, you're going to have to hear me at 1 o'clock in the morning, actually on the 27th. And I'm usually on for 2 hours and it's live. So if you want to hear it, but some of you are, I don't know what you belong to some group that you can play them later then. I mean, Coast to Coast has something you can join so you can listen to the podcast. Yeah.
I want to
Yeah. So a lot of people aren't up at 1 o'clock in the morning to listen to George. And so, but they listen to him over the weekend or going to work or in the morning or whatever. So, but if you want to ask questions, though, you definitely have to be listening live. That would be the only way.
So maybe we'll close off with this. Our last question for the day is from our buddy Lewis. How did we meet? It feels like we've never talked about it, and maybe we haven't.
One of my books came out. I don't remember which one it was. And Melissa was a manager for
It was Tower City Borders.
Borders. And so that's how we met. And then she got moved around to other bookstores, and she invited me to come and do book signings. And then she decided to start or to get her own metaphysical store. And so it was mutual.
Yeah, we kind of kept hanging around, though there was that little bit of time where I lost you when Borders completely shut down. And by then I was in Sandusky, and I was hired on with Books A Million and was in the process of bringing all of my employees in to make sure they had jobs. And in that process, I was taking over Goddess Elite. And every time I tried to go to that store, like just this wave of anxious and like I didn't belong there. They would lose all 9 keys to that store. I'd go to the mall office and they're like, we can't find a 1. I'm like, there's 9. How did you lose all 9? And finally, I'm like, fine, universe, I'm done. But I didn't think to be like, I need to get into the office and grab, important things like Marianne's phone number. So it was about 7 months or so, or close to maybe half a year or so. And you called me at Goddess Elite and you're like, Melissa. And I'm like, what's that?
At the first store that you had, not this one. Right.
Yeah, the first.
And I hardly ever called that store. Well, for whatever reason. And I don't even know why I called that day, but I recognized your voice as soon as you said it. It's like, what are you doing here? So
I'm like, oh, there you are.
Here we are.
I'm like, well, I own it. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's why you're there. You got it. Gosh. How long ago was that now?
I'm going on 7.5 years that I took over Goddess Elite. So then if we go,
good.
Yeah. So if I Goddess Elite 7 years, was in Sandusky for about 2, and in Tower City for probably about 4-ish.
Well, the good thing is the first 2 books that I did on my own. And you even let me come in with my own books and sell my own books. I mean, you would buy them and then you would sell them for me, but they were my own. And then once the next books were published, there was no problem because you could get as many of them as you wanted. But a lot of the bookstores, it's like, you can't bring your own books in here. So I was just selling them out of the trunk of the car. I didn't know what else to do with them.
Yeah, that's one thing I loved about Borders. Like, we had a little more leeway that we could do. And really the company should have lasted. But the higher ups in the ivory tower are making stupid decisions. And then, what can you do? But yeah, thanks to Borders. We've been working together ever since, and hopefully when COVID is done, there were whispers and talkings about Marianne having her book group, so
it would be nice. That was a wonderful group that we had. I mean, there was close to 75 people that showed up once a month for that. It was really good. So I'd like to do that again someplace. I don't know where. For those real fast that do the YouTube at 5:30 today, I've been just reading and doing things at houses that I've done. Well, I started getting so many letters that I'm doing questions. But boy, these questions, these are about infants and kids tonight. And there's some, if you've got time, listen to it. It's pretty good tonight.
Okay, so Lewis says he will email pictures of his outfits to us or tag us on Instagram. Right. So Goddess Elite LLC on Instagram, and Marianne, I think you're just Marianne. Ted runs it for you, Marianne Winkowski.
MarianneWinkowski.com, yeah.
So tag away. But yeah, we both have Instagram. Mine's for the store. It's not my name. It's the store. But Marianne, everything's under your name if they want to find you, as well as Facebook if you're not already following Marianne on Facebook. Marianne Winkowski, Paranormal Investigator, is your page. And then, of course, Goddess Elite for the store. But yeah, so there's our backstory, our love working story together.
Right.
It's been
amazing how fast time goes. It truly does.
I know. I was trying to count backwards. Like Goddess Elite, 7 years, Borders and Sandusky, 2 years. Like
right. And I was trying to think when Go Speak, I think, came out in 2007. So, and it was before that. So it's been a while.
If I remember right, I think the first event you and I did together was at the Copper Top, the golfing. I think it was Copper Top.
Yeah, it was cancer thing that they were doing, a cancer benefit. And I was the speaker for that. Yeah, exactly right. And remember, you showed up and you had the books. And before I was done talking, there wasn't a book left. Everybody bought, remember everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need to bring more.
I know. I came back to the table and Ted was there and he says, well, we don't have very much to pack up. Everything sort of went. And I went, wow, this is good. So, yeah. But it just kept on going after that. So.
And I keep hearing that there needs to be a Goddess Elite on the east side. So maybe.
As soon as you learn how to divide yourself in two, teach me so that I can do it to 4 and send myself out in 4 different directions on the same day. I would like that.
Yes, I need to learn how to clone myself, how to do the nose wiggle and just be there. That way I don't even have to put gas in the car. It would be fantastic. All right. Well, we have rambled away a lot today, I think. It's almost
we have.
So thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back next week, 10 a.m. With coffee and tea. Bring your questions. If we didn't get to you today, just join us because there's been a lot. So we keep gaining more and more friends on these lives. So not because we didn't want to answer it, just because we're running out of time and we ran a little bit at the end. So
have a really good week, everybody, and we'll do it again.
Yes, and don't forget to tag us, Lewis. We want to see these outfits. You know, if you have any ghost hunting outfit, just go ahead and tag.
Yeah, anybody should. Yeah, I mean,
I'll find.
I want to see what you look like when you're out doing it. Maybe I'll get inspired.
Hey, you know, and if the person who is tagging gives permission, I'll load them up and we'll put them up on here, and we'll have fun with this.
Yeah.
So, but thanks everybody. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the weather if you've got good weather, and have your allergy medicine ready to go. I have to go find my eye drops. So, all right.
Bye, everybody.